Happy Saturday, Fire Readers. This is Betsy Ross. I know it's been a very long time since I have posted a video. I do apologize. As most of us would probably agree now, 2020 has been an interesting year. Very eventful, and a lot of ups and downs. Quite the roller coaster ride, right? And with the holidays right around the corner, it makes it all the more important to really check on those that we've been thinking about, who we really hold close and dear into our hearts, that most people would probably say that the holidays is supposed to be a good and cheerful time, but unfortunately not always. It's about this time of year when people either start feeling a little more, I don't know, emotional. Maybe this is a special time of year where someone they cared about passed away or anything along those lines. So, try not to get so consumed about the festivities that you forget there are people hurting. There are people who want to be alone, and that's not always a good thing. And even though I'm a loner, I get it. I'm not a hypocrite. I admit it. I am a loner. I like my peace and quiet, but there's a limit. And so, as the Fight series, if you have read the Fight series, please leave a review, because the Fight mission is very important, especially in the veteran community, because about 99% of veterans that I have spoken with, they always say that what they miss most about the military is the camaraderie. And even though across the branches we're picking on one another, we're cracking jokes, we've got a bit of a cynical humor personality, and which you kind of need that anyway. When you put that uniform on, you kind of need to laugh at something. You have to laugh. And unfortunately, humor doesn't really meet everyone's taste. But, neither does fight, because fight is very bittersweet. It is emotional. It is a mental and emotional journey but realistic depiction and painting of how veterans can perceive coming home out of the military. And honestly, even veteran on veteran, we really knock each other out with, whether it's name calling or, really making people just feel so insecure about everything. They may regret something, they may have flashbacks, but they don't want to talk about it because even fellow veterans are really pushing them, going, these people are wusses, or, if you commit suicide, you weren't meant to be in the military. You're a loser. You're a nobody. You're a, whatever. And it's those kind of things that really push that 22 plus statistic over to the right. And it's a little unnerving. It's very unnerving. And that's one reason that Fight kind of came about, because when I got out of the military, out of the Army, oh gosh, it's been 8 years now. 8 years ago, I finally talked myself into calling the VA, and I was like, I need to speak to a counselor. And they said they couldn't help me because I wasn't officially medically discharged. I know now that's a lie, but at the time I was in a very dark place. The world was already coming down on me. I hated life. I was in a very dark place. And then I started hearing stories of people who called the suicide hotline, got an automated messages, and instantly hung up because they're like, I don't want to talk to a computer. Not about this. And I personally have never called a suicide hotline yet, but it's one of these things. There's just so many obstacles that veterans face. Don't get me wrong. Mental health is not just veteran exclusive. I just focus on veterans because the world needs help. But I have been set into focusing on veterans. Because if you have read the Fight series, the names listed on that first page in memory of, those are people that I served with. Majority of them committed suicide. And it's just very agonizing to see and hear these things happening. And then people have the nerve to question, why are so many people committing suicide? Is it because of the VA? And honestly, I have had bad experience with VA. There are some who have had some good ones, which is good. I'm glad. But it's not, honestly, it's not just the VA's fault. It's not. Because there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of hurt, there's a lot of financial crisis, there's a lot of veterans getting into drugs and losing their homes, losing families. I mean, suicide becomes an option. Regardless of what your opinion is on suicide, that is a very real state of mind. I have been there numerous times, and it is dark. It is a very lonely feeling. It is not a pretty place, and even to describe it is, oh my gosh, it's like your whole world just shuts down when you even try to place yourself there, which is one reason why the Fight series is so important, because it kind of shows the readers everyday things and how a veteran can perceive it. Every veteran has a story. Every veteran has their own idea of what happened, or how they felt, or what they saw, whether it's in the ranks, whether it's if they deployed or not. Every branch is different, every gender, rank, you name it. Everything's different. But there are stereotypes and there are stigmas that the Fight mission really wants to point out, to show that the reason why mental health is important is because we have to unite. You have to. We all have that camaraderie. We have that commonality that, let's face it, civilians just can't understand. It doesn't matter how you try to paint it. Unless you're there, you don't understand. And unfortunately, that's the truth. I get that. I do. But at the same time, it is the Fight's mission to really try to bring veterans together. We like to bash each other. Yes, we like to laugh. That's good. Laughing is good. Laughter is medicine. But sometimes we have to take initiative and really pull certain people aside and go, you know what? All joking aside, how do you feel? What do you think about something? That way, when if anything happens in their life where they just start getting more and more distant, you kind of already have an idea. You kind of understand. And if you have read the Fight series, you kind of pick up on these different personalities. You pick up on these different instances. Unfortunately, a very common stereotype is cheating in the military. Whether you get it, you're in or you're out, cheating is a thing. Cheating's a thing. Out of the military, again, I'm only focusing on veterans. And it's a very big thing, because when you feel like your significant other's the only one there who supports you, and you find out they weren't really there for you, it breaks everything. It just shuts your whole world down. And then a lot of them getting into drugs, and they end up homeless, and you see so many hurting, and yet they have no words to describe how they feel. Again, the Fight mission. Find those words. Find those emotions for readers to say, you know what? These characters, that was painful. That was painful to read. I'm hoping that the Fight mission is able to spark initiatives, to spark an idea, to spark something in readers to say, this needs to stop. This is going on. We need to do something about this. And there are becoming more programs and missions out there to get veterans help. And that is exciting. But there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of contradictions. There's a lot of bad apples. I get that. There's a lot of people who will manipulate systems, make up stories. You have stolen valor. You've got a lot of issues in the veteran community. However, to be a voice for those who don't feel like they have one, it's going to mean something to them. And the testimonies I have heard so far in the last 3 years of veteran of fights being published, even veteran or not, the testimonies are amazing. It's amazing. I've had marriages saved. I have heard stories of people saying, I contemplated suicide and I decided not to go through it because I read Fight. That alone makes Fight a success. However, there are so many more out there hurting, and I need Fight to be heard for their sake. Life is precious. Life is good. It can be good. But we all struggle. I've even recently had my days where I start questioning things. But you know what? I have a family. I now have a job again. Life looks good on the outside, but in here, I question everything. And I know I'm the problem with some things. So it's like, I know I'm not alone. And I want others to know they're not alone. So if you have not yet, please look into the Fight series. Read the first 3 books that are out now on Amazon. Fight 4 is started to fight on. It is started, but I need more stories. But it is starting to come together. I'm hoping once school ends, I can actually get to writing more of it. But if you have not yet, please read the series, leave a review, and help me get word out. Fight is important. We can unite. We have to unite because we're going to be there for each other. Even when all hell breaks loose in the world, the veterans know and will react together. It's going to be a thing. But honestly, we have to come together and make it happen. And so for the rest of you, as always, keep fighting the fight.